On Tuesday, October 28th, the Caisse Populaire of Kahnawake was very generous in donating $60,000 to the Community Development Project Fund. And just a little note here, this logo not only looks good, it actually has a meaning. And it means that the Caisse Populaire starts with the community supporting the case, which then re-donates money back to the community in a circular fashion. It's it's a nice concept that seems to have worked for many years here. Like I said, $60,000 in grants given out this year, $700,000 plus over the past few years. We spoke to some of the people who were lucky recipients tonight.
It will go to be cover the cost of production, mainly cameraman, editing, and all that is encompassed to make Walking My World. A long-term goal is to educate the community of Kahnawake about people with special needs. Because if you look back when I started this show, people with special needs were known in Kahnawake, but not as well known as they are now. So that's the whole goal of the program. It's been going on for a couple of years, too many to count. But the whole goal is to educate the community about people with special needs. Because before, some people with special needs are a little more isolated than I am and stuff like that. So we wanted to focus on bringing people with special needs out in the open.
Well, this is a project that has grown out of one of the KOR staff members, Gatruduni Stacy, and it's an opportunity to bring together language learners, first language speakers, educators, people working in the field, and they can discuss best practices and share methodologies, and also just talk about our language and celebrate it, because it's one of our most precious resources. So these funds from the Caisse Populaire will go towards supporting this event. Just to have it at the KOR classroom, in the Rediwanirdat's classroom. It's outgrown that space. Last year we had it at the Legion. We had over 200 people, and it wasn't big enough. So we need to find a larger space, and of course some of our expenses have gone up, so we're prepared for that this year.
But we want to improve services, and this is one way. You know, there's a lot of people coming in to use computers. And we thought, well, this was an idea we had before, but it's quite expensive for a yearly subscription. So we're really happy that they funded it, and we'll have it installed on one computer, Ancestry.com. So, you know, Ancestry is a big deal in Kahnawake, and I think that it would be nice for people to be able to explore more their past, you know, and just a nice, you know, interesting way, and nothing political about it, but just, you know, as an interest.
Yeah, we appreciate them funding this initiative, and we hope that they can help us out again in the future.
The project that Mackenzie and I were working on was for the Assisted Living Services and Independent Living Center. And that population that we work with, we have the privilege to work with some special people with special needs. So it's children and young adults and some not so young adults, and that's the forgotten population right now. They're really underserviced. It's one of the primary health objectives that we included in the community health plan, and so we're looking at augmenting services as much as we can, and the dollars from this project is going to help us to provide some much-needed respite services for individuals and their families, as well as some assessments and testing tools that right now the government's not assisting us and funding us for.
Creating Joy is about creating recreation for the special needs community in Kahnawake. What we're looking at is everything from art therapy, music therapy, horseback riding, swimming, every kind of facet that we could possibly use with this population.
You mentioned in your speech that this is underserved.
Definitely. There's no targeted group who specifically handles that. The ILC helps the families and helps them, but they don't have the kind of money to put on programming. So, and Sports and Recreation has not had any programming of that nature. So we thought we'd make a partnership.
Our project started from this spring. It's a multimedia program to engage our students a little bit more in the language arts classes so that they'll learn journalism, documentary filmmaking, film editing, and script writing. So they'll learn all these different things that make language arts a bit more experiential rather than just writing with pen and paper all the time. And these are things that hopefully will encourage students to consider more careers that are related to language arts classes as well.
We just want to thank the Caisse Populaire because without their funding and everything else, we would not be able to make one part of our dreams come true this year for the media. And it's very, very important that that we're so excited that they supported us and given us this opportunity to more or less pursue this media event that's happening at KSS. So it's exciting.
All right, I chuckle because everybody else has 15,000, 10,000. You guys are right to the penny. Tell us about that.
Well, I had looked into the prices and that, and this is what we need. It's detail, like all the prices, and this is what it comes up to.
Tell us about the project.
Well, it was just brainstorming. We've talked about it before with other veterans, and a lot of our older veterans didn't think it, they didn't see it as happening. A very expensive project. So Pitt and I kind of got together, and we originally came up with the idea of like, hey, let's make a museum. That's a dream, that's something
that will happen.
That will happen. But in the meantime, Pitt said, why don't we do something small? Let's try some other avenues. We went through Heritage Canada. We're still waiting for them. He decided to put in the proposal with Caisse Populaire, and it just so happened that day that Veteran Affairs Canada came and they said, hey, we're going to grant you some money for our regular Remembrance Day project. So I called him and I said, hey, Pitt, we just got so much money from Veteran Affairs Canada. And he goes, oh, yeah? He says, well, I got this much from the bank.
So what are you going to do in the exhibit?
Well, we're trying to gather up pictures. We got some artifacts. It's just right now it's more or less for awareness. It's to educate our youth, because our youth, as far as the military, they just think of 90. Well, that's not what the military's about. That was a whole political thing, and the military is a lot more than that. Our contributions to both countries, Canada and the United States, and how we help to keep our country free. And that's what we want to try to let the youth know. That's what we're about, and the opportunities that you got for a career, not necessarily a career in the service, but you can get a career, some kind of trade, and be trained by the best military in the world.
So with this money from Caisse Populaire, you know what I mean? It's now we're living. It's not a dream. We're living this dream. We're going ahead with it, and we don't have to look far to get things that we're going to show. Again, our contribution in this community, our veterans. We don't have to go and ask the Canadian Forces, or it's all right here. We want to bring that and put it to light, and that's why this mobile display that we're going to have. Hopefully we're going to have it at the school. We're going to have it here, and it's going to grow.
It's going to help us put on a better powwow, to start off with something and give us initiative to get more from the community and build a better powwow.
For the past 20 years, they've been donating the $10,000. It was from the board in the beginning, and then it came from the community fund. So that gives us a good start. Like she said, everything is volunteer. We have to raise every penny. Nobody gets paid, so you're out there just on your own trying to raise all this money. And it usually takes about $110,000 to put on the powwow. So it's a lot of work, and this gives us at least a good base to start with.
Well, this year we're planning a brand new exciting event called Winter Wonderland, and it's a Christmas tree raffle, which is it's like a penny fair style. So it'll be taking place December 10th through the 13th, and with the bank's help, we have they're sponsoring the flagship tree of it, which is tickets to the Boston, Montreal Winter Classic game.
Ooh.
Also, with we have that comes with a 2-night hotel stay, and we also have a home game, Boston-Montreal, that will be under that Christmas tree. And we're having at the minimum of 10 Christmas trees that will be raffled off. And there's going to be silent auction at the event, silent auction, photographers, raffles. There's going to be so much going on, and this money's going to help us plan for the first year, get a good promotion out, and to continue it for years to come. To make, we're starting a scholarship fund, numerous scholarships funds for probably high school, college, and for students that are studying health science fields.
Well, it's been several years now that we've been able to give back to the community in the form of individual member dividends and community dividends as well. So these projects help the community as a whole. There may be some people that don't receive any dividends from the case. So this goes toward those to help the community as a whole. So over the years, we've given $700,000. Tonight, we've given $65,000. And all the projects are there to help, for example, the youth of the community, the disabled. There's many different projects that try to fill the gap, and we hope that there's some long-term positive things that come out of it. For example, there's going to be a multimedia project at the survival school, so that's an excellent way to help the youth in our community to further their education and things like that. We hope to have in our community to sustain us throughout in the future. Sure, there was a lot of happy faces. You know, everybody this year, all the projects that we receive are actually excellent. It's very hard every year to make that decision. Not everyone does receive funding, but the ones that do are all, very appreciative. And the same thing for the ones that don't always get, but every year we encourage them to reapply. There's hopefully next year we're able to give again, and that way there are other things that we could also hope to fund throughout the years.